Hey there, M.A.V show listeners. Sorry about the late uploads and such going on. COVID has been a real big problem for us as of lately, and we're doing our best to pump out these episodes. We're trying to do our best with the Discord, and that's why we're going through a little bit of technical difficulties, but we promise we're doing our best to get these episodes out to you as quick as possible and as best as we can. But enjoy this episode that was actually meant for a few months back, but we're barely getting it out right now. So thanks for being loyal fans to us, and we hope you enjoy.
You're listening to the M.A.V show, episode number 24, Biggest Flops. All right, everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the M.A.V show.
Mushy mushy.
What up, what up?
What's up, guys? I am your host, King Vontae, KV for short.
I'm your co-host, little brother.
I'm Rocky.
What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? What's up? How you guys doing?
Bored.
Yay, okay. I mean, apparently we all don't feel the same, but yay, okay.
Well, we got one person who's bored and the other person who's A-okay. So let's start with the bored person because, I'm curious to know why he's bored.
You know why I'm bored? Because I miss working already. I miss having a job. I miss making money.
That's right. The infamous Rocky series, the soap opera that our M.A.V listeners have been getting to know and to love. So, what's the latest on the marvelous misadventures of Rocky?
Nothing really.
Curious to know as well.
I had the third interview. I think I talked about the last time, and they just told me, "Yeah, just wait. We'll contact you." So I was hoping it would be this week they'd contact me, but I haven't got contacted back yet. But they did tell me that last time that if I did get contacted, it would mean that I would have to wait till the moment my badge gets released, and I can actually work with them. So I kind of knew it was coming, but I don't want to. I want to go to work already.
So you're not enjoying being stuck at home playing video games all day. That's what you're telling me.
I'm not at all. Unfortunately, as much as I love video gaming, you only get a level of enjoyment out of it until you get bored.
Well, aren't you broke in the meantime until you find a new job?
Broke? No. I made sure I left my job. I had money.
He said, broke? Broke?
I don't know
You
that
must be
girl.
talking-
You said broke. I'm not broke. I saved up money just for things like this. Situations.
That's exactly what I did. I made sure to save money up because I was like, if I knew one thing, it was if I lost my job or quit my job, I wanted to have money, and I did exactly that.
Wow. I'm still a little bit puzzled. Like, enjoy this time, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't like sitting at home. And I definitely agree with you. I love playing video games all day, watching anime, reading. I love it, but doing it too much every single day, it will definitely give you a major burnout.
Yeah,
a serious major burnout. So,
hey, I made silver 2 in League. I guess that's something.
I mean, with the whole video game aspect, I kind of been on a decline as of lately, but as far as anime goes, I always give myself like a month hiatus. So, that's my month to miss it. I might go on a binge of like 3, 5, 6 months of just nothing but anime. But then, get that 1 month of rest and then you're all good.
Dang, that's better than me. I go on a hiatus almost all year. And then I'm like, all right, 1 month will be straight anime. I'll watch everything. And then I'll be like, man, that was great. Time to go on another hiatus for another year.
Yeah, see, I feel like that's too long for me. That's way too long for me.
I get tired of waiting every week for an episode. Sometimes I'm like watching YouTube and it's like, oh, hey, recommended. This anime is pretty good. I'm like, all right. And then it's like the whole season's out. I'm like, cool, I don't need to wait.
I would take a whole year off. Like, how?
I don't know. I can't go a day without gaming, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe his gaming is like my anime, but for me it's like there's so much anime out there that I haven't seen that there's no way that I'm not gonna run into something that that where I fall into that problem of, oh, I gotta wait for the next episode, because I'm not the type of person who will watch 3 animes in one sitting or like I'm going back and forth between the three of them. Some people just like watch an entire season or entire series of one first and then go on to the next. Nah, I gotta get more anime in by then.
Did that last time. I watched 3 animes in one, but it was like all 3 episodes released one Wednesday, one Thursday, one Friday, and then it's like cool. I don't want. I've rewatched anime so many times. I don't want to rewatch anime. I've rewatched Toradora like 6 times. I've rewatched Darling in the Franxx 3 times now because my sister got back into it and I watched it with her. My Love Story, I watched. I think I'm on my 6th run of My Love Story, and I think I'm done this time. I don't think I'm gonna watch it again for a while.
I can't say anything because I'm rewatching No Game No Life as we speak.
Oh
I don't
man,
even know how you're doing that to yourself because
I
No
know
Game
I've
No
only
Life
done it
was
twice, and I
freaking
can't do it
amazing.
now because I'm like, there's no more. I'm just hurting myself.
Then the movie was phenomenal.
Oh, I loved the movie.
The movie really would almost make you cry. So I don't know how you're doing it.
Sheer willpower.
He still has that hope. Still has the hope.
Well, that's what it is. Because I'm not like I don't think people really understand how much I actually truly do enjoy anime. I won't say like love or how infatuated I am because I just really really like anime. But it goes as so far as the animes that I see for the first time, like No Game No Life or like Magus' Bride or any like fantasy anime, it puts my actual mindset to another world, to a like somewhere that's not here. So when I rewatch them, I tend to revisit said world. So for me, it's just like not rewatching an anime; it's me popping back into another world.
See, I see it.
Okay, I feel that. So, are we ready to get into today's topic of the day?
I sure am.
Which is
Drumroll, please.
I guess you can't hear it. I was all tapping on my desk. Pretend you hear me then.
And all that other good stuff.
And goes.
Biggest flops. So,
Ooh.
but before we continue, guys, also remember to like and subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you guys listen to us. Leave a comment so we can talk back to you guys and whatever we do.
A 5-star rating helps on Apple Podcasts and iTunes. Make sure you leave a review. Tell us whatever you want. Tell us what big flops that we don't hit today, so we all know what animes or what video games just didn't make the cut.
But guys, go ahead.
Oh, say who's going first then?
The biggest.
Shall we
flop.
flip a coin?
I don't have any coins. I got a light bulb.
Wait,
The nearest thing to me is a
wait.
light bulb, and I'm not flipping that.
I got a pizza or half of one.
I mean, flip it. If it lands face down, you have to clean it up,
Okay.
which means you don't have to
Alright.
go.
If you have an iPhone, ask
Alright.
Siri to flip a coin.
Oh, it actually flipped face down.
Oh, so me gotta clean it.
I'll say KV. You want to go first?
I will go first. And so for my biggest flop, I'm not gonna go to because I kind of heard like our other ones, and I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna go to my favorite anime, and even though the whole entire series I'm gonna be considered a flop, I'm gonna break it down and say it wasn't. It's just bits and pieces and chunks of it. So, and my favorite anime, as you guys already know, is Sword Art Online. Love it. First season was fire. I feel like it revived virtual reality animes, isekais a little bit too. Like it just, it was just everything about it. It just brought the flame, brought the heat to it.
Yep.
But after its first season, because Alpine wasn't technically considered second season. It was like second part to the first season.
Yes, sir.
It went to Gun Gale Online. This is where they went from the whole fantasy and the magic and swords to using guns. And this is where I feel like my favorite anime had a huge, ridiculous flop. Like it dropped the ball, and I'm just like, what in the world was you guys thinking?
And then attached to that one was the one with the little girl and who's basically better than Kirito or whatever.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna get there too. But so first off, when we go to When we think about the whole Gun Gale art, I understand that they try to bring different games and stuff too, but I believe they could have probably had a lot more fun finishing different parts of the other two games, or like maybe come up with different. I don't want to say villains. Like I understand, like they already kind of beat those two games in a sense. So in part, I can understand what another game coming in helps out. But going from the whole fantasy part to the whole Gun Gale, I didn't understand it. I felt like it was a bit flop. I really haven't heard any positive about the whole Gun Gale arc series. And not only that, it also had where it focused on the different main characters as well. And it was really, really uninteresting to say the least.
You know, it's funny that you say that because I can agree to that mainly because my brother just recently got into anime. It's been forever. I've been trying to get him, and he finally got into it. I'm super excited, and he's watching Sword Art Online right now. And he was telling me, he's like, "Oh, I love this show," and I'm like, "Yeah, it gets better." And he goes, "Yeah." He's like, "The only bad thing is that everybody keeps telling me to skip Gun Gale," and so
Yep.
I believe you when it comes to that. My brother, who's never watched anime, all his friends are telling him, "Yeah, just skip Gun Gale. Just go from there. Go to the war, whatever one, Alchemist War or something." I don't watch it anymore.
Localization, I think it's called. Something like that. And so this is where I kind of agree because I feel like that whole Gun Gale arc part was definitely a flop. But if it was just to go from first season to Alkalization, I feel like it kind of picks up perfectly. Like all the other middle characters from Gun Gale are in there as well, but it's like, well, they didn't really play a part in the story anyways. They're just characters that kind of come in and help out. You don't even need to know their backstory. And Alkalization was pretty decent. I had to give it like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, maybe. The other thing that really made me not like it really is the power of friendship. Um, I believe it. I believe, and we're gonna kind of go back from here. We're gonna kind of go back from here because I know my fellow host definitely feel this way about some other things. Power of friendship is just
Oh
using it
man,
makes your whole entire anime a big flop. But like I feel like using power of friendship is it can make your whole anime a big flop. And we're gonna kind of travel back to like fairy tale. So
here we go.
what did you guys think about fairy tale?
All right, so can I cook this right now? Can I just put it up on a wok and just fry this right now?
Do it. Do it all.
All right, so Fairy Tale started off with such cornball antics, it was unbelievable. But somehow we still all pushed through it. But tell me, how are you going to be in this world of just wizardry, all this mythical and all this, where people have known to die, but yet when you're a part of the Fairy Tale Guild, there's death, not a consequence to you, not a consequence to you, not a consequence to anyone you know.
If
How
they're
many
your friend,
times
they live in.
how many times has Natsu, Lucy, Gray, Gajild, anybody and everybody even around them have been so close to death. And I'm not even talking about like, oh well maybe there was this situation, this and that. They could have gotten out of it. They were just close, but not really close.
Oh,
No.
and to bring up what you're saying too, the episode where Gray died, he got shot in
I
the
was
head.
just about to bring that up,
And
bro.
that's what exactly I mean. Death has no consequence. What happens? Reverses time. What? We all died, but we're not dead. I'm like,
Hmm.
like, okay, I guess.
Another one was God, what was her name? Lizana, Mira Jane's and Elfin's brother or sister. Gosh, I'm fumbling over words. She
What's her name again?
literally Lizana. She literally what was it? Elfman turned into a giant monster and I guess like he like crushed her or something like that. He killed her sister. What he straight up murks her. And then in another world, which was the Xy's world or something like that, I forgot their actual name, but even in that world, Lizana was dying. She fell off a cliff, but because the two beings died at the same time, they somehow merged into one. Lizana from the Earth we know got transported to that Earth, and she lived her life there. And then after they go into that Earth, the whole gang goes into that Earth. They see her, they bring her back, and then she's alive again.
Yeah. For story plot.
It sounds
Man,
like
but I
really,
bet you if
really.
she wasn't a friend of them, it would have lived.
I mean, and that's why I say death is a thing there because Lucy's mom and dad both died. Like they straight up died, and I'm okay with that. But and once again, we always should just put like a spoiler thing ahead of this show because we talk about them. But Lucy has like an ancestor that the first time we see her was at the tournament situation where the dragons come back and
I was
then
also kind
wreak
of want to
havoc.
say real quick, if
Mhm.
you haven't seen Fairy Tale after it ended almost 5-10 years ago, it's not a spoiler. Like it's like we're just gonna be talking about it. So there is no. So the only time we can say spoiler, and I want to throw this out for the whole entire group, because I also kind of find it a little bit funny. So if the show or whatever is like kind of keep going, like or like if something just recently dropped and you don't want it to be killed, like then we'll throw out the spoiler warning. If it's been out for like some years, there's no spoiler. Like it's been out. Like go watch it. Like it's not our fault if you haven't already got into it.
Yeah, and the stuff we're talking about, that's like seasons deep. Seasons. It's not like it's the first 3
That is so
episodes.
true. That is so
It's
true.
by the time you get there, you'll be like, oh yeah, they talked about that. You're not gonna be like, oh my god, our parents are dead the first episode all the way through. You're not gonna have that mentality.
Oh yeah, you're gonna do it's like it's information you're gonna forget about. So I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, little brother.
You're fine. You're fine. And I'm gonna wrap my kind of like cook session up real quick. Um, so like, what was it? Her ancestor during the whole dragon thing where they come in and wreaking havoc onto the town of I forgot Fiore or whatever. But her ancestor comes back. Her ancestor dies by Rogue. Like Rogue pretty much kills her. So she's supposed to be dead. But
Was it an
because
ancestor or was it Lucy's older future self?
ancestor. I mean, was it her? Yeah, it was her ancestor. It was her ancestor.
I could have sworn it was a future
Because
self.
no,
Hey, don't look at me. I don't remember. I haven't seen the show in so
Yeah,
long. I don't even care
yeah,
about it no
because her
more.
future self had came back and was trying to warn the whole squad, and then Rogue did kill it. It was a future self.
And that's the other thing I didn't like was that let's turn all the enemies into good guys. Like
Oh gosh.
that's another thing.
that kind of annoyed me. Like I understood with the two I was happy with was Juvia. Okay, she wasn't really bad. She just really couldn't control her emotions. I could deal with that. I liked
And
her. I liked her. Gaziel, dude beat the girl senseless, hung her from a tree. And the guild leader's like, you know what, dog? I believe you're a good person. Join me.
Yo,
I'm
it's
like, what?
okay. You put a baby in her afterwards, man. That's
Yeah,
okay.
okay. See, that's what I'm okay with because he did make up for it. He really did make up for it. He fought for everything to make her feel better and to forgive her, and they end up having a kid again. And I'm cool with that. I'm totally okay with that. But then you got Sting and Rogue. They became good guys. Like
Anybody who they fought or anybody who they like saw. So remember the guild Horatio Sace? Those dudes literally were trying to like bring back and just kill everybody or bring back.
yeah,
They're trying to bring back some dude who was like Omega powerful. I think they were trying to bring back one dude, Urza's boyfriend. We all know him. Freaking dude, I forgot his name.
the blue guy with
Um,
the tattoo on his eye.
Mm-hmm.
I keep wanting to call him like something with a G.
Right.
Uh,
Jalal.
I was all thinking like Garen. I was like, it's not Garen.
But once again, quick wrap up. So like Jalal became a good guy. The Ratio Says who brought back Jalal, who wanted to kill the entire world, became good guys. The whole people from the towers who are actually that's all the Ratio Says too. Pretty much everybody from the other world where they came back to
90% of everybody who they fought eventually probably became a good guy.
everybody becomes good. I think even a couple of the demons became good. And it's just like, how? When? Why? Even in the one where they're at the end of the seasons and they're fighting the one dude's crew, the uh why can't I remember nobody's name? Jeez. The one black wizard who's scared of Zareth. No, it's Zareth. Zareth's crew. Even one of the couple of those people from there became good guys. And it's just like why fairy tale you just keep making up all these excuses on why they keep somehow getting out of these situations and it's like okay, I'm watching the season, oh they're fighting a guy, he's gonna become good, okay, now we're done.
9 times out of 10 is gonna be a friend. But
Yeah.
I would also say, to not deviate too much from our topic of the day, these are all things that kind of like made it almost a flop or towards the
Not
ending.
even almost a flop. That's a flop to me. I like Fairy Tail, but you flopped.
Yeah, it had like a lot of what's wrong with it. I like once again the power of friendship is not cool. So real quick, does My Hero Academia suffer from this?
Actually, no.
I think what happened in My Hero for me was I hated the beginning because it was going to start flopping real quick if he didn't man up, and I think that's what stopped me from dropping it. Was he eventually manned up and he stopped being a baby, because I got tired of every episode till finally like he puts up with it. He stopped being a baby about it, and that genuinely made me like it. That he showed growth. Not I need my friends to protect me. They all had a role and they knew what role they had to play. Deku could win all fights. Nobody could win all fights, and that's what I liked. It wasn't like All Might was like, "Oh, power of friendship." No, he's literally like, "I'm gonna give everything up in this last hit." He knew what he was doing. He didn't. He doesn't like. He's part of the story still, but is he like power of friendship? Let's get one for all back, or all for one, where it was. And I was like, he doesn't get it back. Yes, I'm happy. Like they don't crap the storyline by giving people back powers, which is like another one I think about. Bleach.
Yeah, no, Ichigo was supposed to be done, and then they came with that whole Quincy stuff, and then he got his
He's the
powers all back.
Quincy,
So,
and I was like, "Oh my
Rocky,
God."
go ahead, lead with that. Start from the beginning with the Bleach. Go ahead, lead with
Okay.
that.
When Bleach started for me, I first watched it in Toonami years ago. I loved it. I loved it a lot. I loved when they did the Rancor fights. I was super excited when he transformed, or when he died and he became not a Rancor.
Tensho.
No. Before that, when he died fighting the dude with the wings when he went to save Orihime.
Oh yeah, the hollow.
Yeah, when he went hollow, I was like, I was in high school. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to become a hollow. I want to be cool like that. That was hype. That was cool. And then when that arc ended or started ending, and then they brought in oh man, Aizen's the real bad guy here. We gotta do something. And then the whole finally gets a good Tensho came into play.
Setup.
Perfect. And then when they ended the fight and they had him tied up and whatnot, and I was like, awesome. And they're like, you know what we should do? Now that he doesn't have his powers, let's give him new ones. I'm like, oh, here we go. That's what made me fall off. I was not ready for them to try to bring the story back like that. Oh, his mom was a Quincy and his dad was a
Soul Reaper.
A Soul Reaper. And I was like, okay, I can kind of get into this. And then it slowly was like, oh, you can still use your Bankai, or not your Bankai, you can use the mask, the hollow mask, to use powers. And you have that little symbol thing. I don't know. That whole thing to me just became boring, and it was not worth my time.
Good question. What made it seem like a flaw? Is it that it continued with a whole bunch of weird ideas and trying to make it stay alive after it kind of unofficially ended with the whole Aizen fight?
Yeah, like they tried to bring it and keep going with it. I'm like, it was over.
Well, I'm actually I might not wrap it up. I'm actually circle this back to UKV when he beat one dude who created SAO. Wasn't it over at then? Like if the anime ended right there, could you when Kirito's walking out of the hospital, would you have been all right if the whole series ended right there?
I would have.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what else they could have done, they could have probably finished scaling the rest of the floors in the first game.
I mean, they did though. They kind of like skipped over it all.
Oh, they stopped at floor 70, somewhere between 75 and 80. They had like 20 more floors to go.
Oh, I thought they hit 100.
No,
they didn't even hit.
Oh, that bugs me now that you say that, because now I'm really starting to be like, oh, okay, cool. So you tell me I really wasted my time here.
Yeah, so they never got to the Ruby Palace. Like they missed literally like 20, somewhere around like 20 floors.
I think I just made up what the rest of SAO could have been about in my head just now.
Oh, it could have been dope. A lot of more people would have died though.
I'm just saying. Here's how at least okay. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm gonna just throw this quickly out here. How they could have ended it was Kirito gets healthy. The government or whatever saw the gameplay of Kirito being a boss. They go back up to Kirito. They say, Kirito, we need your help. There are still people trapped in these such and such floors of the rest of SAO. will you be willing to go back in and save everyone? He says yes. He
I'd be
goes
like,
in,
my dude, that's all you gotta say.
say less, and
Say
then goes back
less.
in, saves everybody, and then boom. All right. Thank you. You're welcome. Whoever created SAO, I just gave you gold. Just a little sprinkle of gold dust right there. You're welcome.
I know. And now we're getting Asuna's story, and I'm like,
Forget
I'm not doing it.
Asuna.
I liked her to begin with, and I slowly felt of it. I liked, like everybody said, the twin swordsman. I loved that ability. Just thinking about that, Devontae Snow back in the day, we used to talk about it all the time while working.
KV.
all the time. And like, I'm just trying to think. So Asuna kind of almost had like a side story where they kind of find out that there was a better swordsman than Kirito was. And during that whole little side arc or chapter, I'm just like, this is kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say lame. I just kind of want to say lackluster.
He said, I don't want to say lame, but I think lame was the word for it.
That practically was the word.
I don't want to be disrespectful, but God, it was lame.
Bro, to me, Asuna is just a watered down version of Sakura.
I don't know how to respond to that because I both like her.
No, I would
And
not disrespect Asuna like that.
I
Asuna
was
was
like, yeah.
actually helpful in multiple battles. He
But
actually can
Asuna
hold.
is just as annoying as Sakura.
No. I would not also do that to Asuna. She's not just as annoying either. Once again,
Once
like
again,
she's more of what kind of keeps Kirito in balance a lot, and so like she actually kind of plays a pretty decent role into like the whole anime. Like, I respect her.
this is also coming from KV, who says that Hinata isn't truly in love with Naruto. It's just she's infatuated with him, which, lame. I'm
I don't know
never gonna
about
let
that
you
one,
go.
Chief.
I'm never gonna let you let that down. You say
Say it
that her
again.
love, you think that Hinata's love for Naruto isn't really love. It's just infatuation, that she just was obsessed with him because he did one thing for her, and she's only been in love with him ever since. Which, incorrect, my friend.
So what's crazy is this is a whole really big a
Well,
sidestep. But
she
let's
had
go
years to
there.
get. I was like, she had years to get over that though, and I mean
Exactly.
literally years to get over it. It isn't that nobody would be that infatuated for that long. Literally, everybody could have
Exactly.
thrown themselves at her. Anybody at one point could have thrown themselves at her. Even
Exa-
even the dude in the movie, which I don't even know if canon, took her away, and she was like, "Oh, I guess so." And then she took off, and Naruto's like, "Man, I'm stupid. Why did I let this happen?" And then he saves her, and I'm like, "All right, cool." And then they kiss and whatnot.
That's
It's
Naruto
like,
bless.
So once again, it went from like a little childhood crush to kind of like she just stayed infatuated. She just stayed having a crush on him for the longest. And once again, you got the main character never giving her no play throughout the whole entire series. Now, and he's been in love with a whole different chick throughout the whole entire series. So, like, he's been in love with somebody the whole entire series. He hasn't paid Hinata no attention, like just nothing. So that whole thing, I don't believe it. I don't buy it.
Did you
I'm
watch
surprised.
Naruto Blast?
I'm surprised Sasuke got. Yeah, I've seen that Naruto movie, but I'm surprised Sasuke even got with Sakura because once again, like, dude gave her no play during the whole entire season. Like, this is literally two teenage boys who was not worried about love, eventually getting with the girls who had crushes on them for almost what
Okay,
10 years
let me
plus.
slice this up for you real quick. Slicing for Naruto, the difference between them right there, Naruto actually finally saw the light and said this. And mind you, it was like a memory thing. Like, he actually saw her memories and finally saw that she really loved him, and he had to just see the light. So that's why Naruto actually tied the knot with her. For Sasuke, my man's was just bored.
I can agree to
She
that.
did all right. Did all right. I mean, steered.
I hated Sakura to begin with, though. That's the problem. I hated Sakura way to begin with.
Everybody did,
Yeah,
especially when she tried to cap him with that Naruto, I love you. And like, stop the
I
cap.
like nah.
All right, bud. Roll that back to today's topic.
All right.
But that's my biggest flop, or that's just kind of one of them. Somebody else take the reins.
All right.
SAO,
Well,
I got Fairy Tail in there, so you want to go ahead, Rocky?
I think what got me was a video game I played, which is I was super hyped for, called Anthem. I waited for so long for it. I was in the part of the hype train. I pre-ordered it on my Xbox. I bought it later down the road. I think like the second day it came out, I bought it for my PC so I could play with my other friend. And I started off like, oh, this is a fun game. And I played maybe 2-3 hours of it, and I immediately just started getting bored of it. Especially because like your objective is over here, and you fly all the way across the map. And I think what made me bored immediately was I'm flying across the map. All right, either I have to dive to get more energy, or I have to land away for my jetpacks to come back. I couldn't just passively fly around the map without running out of energy. And I was like, I can kind of get over it, whatever. And I would play. But then I realized when I tried to play by myself, it's awful. Doing things by yourself in the game was boring. It was like they tried to do Destiny, but their world was so open that I don't know. I think when I went into my own separate like instance or whatever you call it, there was nobody around me. I had an instance pop up and I was by myself. And this is the second day the game is out. I tried it again the next day when me and Xyerci were playing. Same thing, just nobody's around. I went to, I don't know if it was a dungeon. I don't even remember. It's been a while since I played. I went to a dungeon and it was boring. Defend the objective for like 5 minutes. Okay. And I stood at the top of a stairway with 4 other guys as we just melted everything that came with the stairs. It took no effort. None. It was like, it was just boring. They tried to do Destiny, but everybody's abilities were so, they required you to work together to do anything. I had a flamethrower on my shoulder, but guess what? If the guy behind me had like electricity, it would detonate it. That's okay, cool. That's awesome. That's good damage. But guess what happened? Guess what happens if I don't have that guy? I don't have anything. So it flopped for me really hard after that, and it made me. What?
So let me help you break that down. There's a lot of different points because I totally agree with you 100% about how this game was a total letdown. About how like it piqued everybody's interest between the flying, the visual arts, the combat. Like everybody thought this game was going to be a major hit. It had all really the major elements. First off, we're going to start with the story. The story was trash and short.
100%. Didn't care one bit about it after 10 minutes.
Yeah, like the story even made no sense. Like you didn't even really care. There was no story at all. It was more of a go here, complete this, shoot this type of video game. Like there was really no story. Two, the mechanics or even the suits, how much they were spaced out, couldn't even save it. Since most of the time you were stuck, since you weren't even given all the suits at the beginning to even kind of play around with, you had to. There was like certain parts of the game before you even got most of the different suits to even play around with, and by then you didn't even care about the rest of them.
Oh yeah, because they gave you an option like to pick one suit to begin with, and I was like, well, I really wanted to be the cool looking warlock, but I would like to be the tank guy, and I want to try them both out. But I guess I'll start the game off as a tank guy, and I thought he was cool. Wanted to play the warlock, but I had to beat a certain point in the story to unlock a new suit, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do this again and again. At one point, I think you can unlock all of them, which was kind of just boring to me. It's like, okay, obviously there's a power scaling somewhere in there, because if I played games, which I've played games enough, there's a lot of games where if you all pick the same suit and you all just pick one ability that complements you, you can annihilate everything. Build straight down and just annihilate everything. Doesn't matter. Like if you're all warlocks and they have an ability that coincides with each other, guess what? Game's over. You don't need any other class. I say class if it's even a class, another suit.
But also and I think the last thing was like gameplay. So between like every fight was almost really the same, depending on if you were using the same suit. Also goes back to it was mostly here. It was mostly go kill X amount of number, kill one enemy, or defend one spot, and that's all. Or it was like go in.
The other thing that made me mad is what you're bringing up right now. Weapons. I feel like weapons didn't really matter. I had like a machine gun to begin with, and I can tell you it did like almost no damage. I had to rely on my abilities heavily. Like that's not fun. How is that fun? Like, oh, cool, I have a gun that does almost nothing. I guess I'll just spam flamethrower on enemies and hope somebody detonates it. It was bad. And I heard they're trying to make it better, and they're trying to consistently work on it still. But unless I see a big change, I'm not going back into that game.
I feel like you got to cut your losses. So that game died. Like It came out hard, but it lagged. It I said less than a week, or even like you're not even a week into it. It had no traction. Like people stopped playing it.
Yeah,
Like,
they tried so hard to be Destiny, it just didn't work.
I've never played
Um,
Destiny, so I wouldn't know.
Oh,
I'm just gonna put my 2 cents in here. Sorry guys, I can't put my 2 cents in because I've never played the game myself. But if I was gonna compare it to anything, I mean I know Destiny was like the first thing that comes to mind, but I was gonna say like No Man's Sky. Like, did any of you
yeah.
either of you ever play
I
that?
I did when it first came out, and I was really disappointed because in the beginning when I first played, it was like day 1. I could almost never get into a server. Okay, that usually happens with games to begin with. Not going to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, offline mode, cool." It was hard to do anything. It's like, "Do this." All right. How do I do it? And it's like, "Good luck."
Good
I'm like,
luck.
"Oh, okay, good luck what?" And it's like, "Find salt." And if you got I don't know if there was actually a planet you could land on, but it took me forever to find salt on my planet. I walked around for like an hour to find salt.
I want you to
Seriously?
I'm thinking of like just a skit on how that could go. It's just someone puts you in the game. All right, good luck. Good luck with what? Find salt. Where's the salt?
Yeah,
And you just wandering.
and
I just
what
had a little
really made
mini
it
skit
worse
going.
for me was it's like me starting off, it would be cool if they gave me the ship with full, once I built it, not give me a broken ship. You had to repair your ship so you had no inventory space. Oh, you need these items. Okay, well my inventory is full of fuel for my ship. At the same time, it's full of shield stuff to keep my health from dying. And it was like, okay, I ended up ditching my ship actually. Within very, very quickly, I ditched it for a ship I found that was even crappier, but it had more inventory space. It was broken, but it had more inventory space. And I did that. I took that guy's ship, left my ship there on the floor, and just never came back for it. To this day, I don't even know where it's at. I still play it. To be honest, after all the updates it's had, it's better. I haven't played the newest update. I got myself one of those cargo ships, and I have like 4 ships now, and I'm like 86 million credits. But now I guess credits isn't really a care in the world. It's some new stuff. But other than that, I kind of just play every so often with my friends just to look for a cool planet, build a nice house, and that's about it. I don't. It's like Minecraft to me now.
Mm,
Wow.
Yeah, but the
Can
game
I
in the beginning, big flop, big, and it's been out what 3 years now, so it took it some time to get its feet back on the ground.
so, you guys were talking about Anthem. Can I actually talk about a franchise that I'm pretty sure all of us can keep up with?
Go ahead.
Now, I was debating back and forth in my mind between these two. It was either going to be Bayonetta, which arguably I felt like did fall off with its what was it its Wii U counterpart.
Okay,
I can't,
I was gonna say, please don't, but yeah, you made your way back into it. Yeah, the Wii U. Well, that was the
yeah,
second game, wasn't it?
yes,
I think they moved it to another platform. I'd have to
the
check.
Switch.
Fact check there. I need to know if Bayonetta 2 is on something else. And if it is on Switch, I might get it because I love Bayonetta.
I'm
I've
on
never
it.
played the second one.
Yeah, same. I've only seen a little bit of gameplay on it, and I thought it
Also,
was interesting.
I kind of want to say, if we ever need to find something, that's what we should all say now, because that right there was a really good point, Rocky. Checker, will you please find?
Xyerci.
Yes, there. See,
Xyerci.
I just need to know, is Bayonetta on the Switch? Because as far as I know, it was only on the Wii U.
Well, Bayonetta
Bang.
2, I think because that's what you're asking for. Bayonetta
Yes.
2 is on the Switch.
Bang.
$60.
Oh, never mind.
It ain't
Yeah.
worth $60 though.
Yeah, well,
It's
if you've never owned a Nintendo system recently, guess what? They don't get cheaper.
Hey,
oh
I agree to that. A
God.
lot of their games are still $60 to this day, and the game's been out for like 6 years. All right.
All right. So, but the thing that I was gonna go with, not Bayonetta, but I did think about Bayonetta like heavily. I do want to talk about Assassin's Creed, the series as a whole.
Man.
Oh, I know you were gonna say it too,
Oh,
and I'm
I should
happy
have
you
known this was
did.
going to come up at some point.
You know
I have a
what?
lot
I'm
of
If we're
glad
gripes
you
with
did.
talking
that.
about flops, I'm gonna get my opinion out of the way real quick. Everything from 1, 2, 3, or sorry. So 1, 2, Revelations, or sorry, Brotherhood, Revelations, 3 and then Assassin's Creed 4 are my personal favorites. I can take that franchise as a whole, take it into my room, play all of them back to back, and I'll be done with it. That's the entire Assassin's Creed trilogy to me, or franchise to me. All right, I'll let you two take hold right now.
I played Unity, Assassin's Creed Unity, because I was like, oh, cool. It has co-op. Awful. Completely, utterly awful. Not only was it broken half the time, but being in a server with your friends, just it locked you out of most of its content. And it was not worth my time. I played what was the other one? I played a bit of Black Flag. Didn't like it either.
Watch yourself.
I didn't like Black Flag.
So I kind of want to jump in here. So after you have Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3, all those kind of have a storyline. So Assassin's Creed actually had a pretty good, decent storyline about the fight between Templars and Assassins of, controlling the whole world, certain relics and everything. It was a good story from the beginning. It was a great story. After 3, though, this is where it started to flop, personally. And I say this because it seems like they were just coming out with something every single year just to put out something with the name Assassin's Creed. Like, it didn't have a storyline. I'm happy that it had like a different era, genre. Like, you're in Britain, you're in Rome, you're in Egypt. You got the Vikings coming out this year, but they're more just trying out. It's like they're just trying to say each era had assassins versus the whole storyline that it used to have. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right, because what is it? Excuse me, real quick. Sorry. The from 1 to 3, Assassin's Creed, all of that was about Desmond and how he's doing the fight, or how he's fighting against the Templars, and him going back with his ancestors, Altair, Ezio, and Connor. Between the 3 of them, that's them and Desmond, and that storyline itself, amazing. It started, it ended on a kind of a sad note. I like the ending, but it was a very sad ending to me. Ooh.
That it.
But then, sorry, but then everything from Assassin's Creed 4 to Vikings now, none of it has to deal with the actual original story.
Here's the thing: I've never played. What was the latest one? Where they're like Egypt?
The latest one is the Vikings.
Well, it's not out yet, is it?
No,
Then the one
you're thinking of Origins.
Okay, Origins. I didn't personally play it. I watched my buddy play it. It looked okay. I didn't care too much for it. The Vikings one though, I kind of want to play it. It looks. I like Vikings. I think Vikings are cool.
I think Vikings are definitely cool, and I definitely want to play it as well.
Yes, yeah. It's weird to say that because it's like, oh, you can't just like a game because it's Vikings. I watched the whole anime because there was a cute little scene. There was one cute scene, and that was not, and that was Darling in the Franxx, which I think I talked about last time.
Oh, I literally bring up Vinland Saga.
I literally watched Darling in the Franxx because there was the episode with 02, his little girl, and it was what's his name? Hero? I don't remember his name actually. Shiro? I don't remember the main character's name, but when he was with her in the beginning, and she was like just a little red little thing, I was like, this is cute. Watched all the episodes, caught up to Xyerci at the time, and then we watched every episode together. It was definitely that's how easy it is for me to be entertained by something.
Really?
Darling.
And
And that's all it required. all it needed to do.
These fools. But the only thing I will give, so I heard Odyssey was amazing. A lot of people loved it, but still, like, even on top of, in the same sentence, those people would say Odyssey was amazing, but it's still not, Assassin's Creed. And the only thing I give Origins is they had a cool, and it was so under the radar that nobody cared about it unless you played both of the games or either of the games. They had a mashup between Final Fantasy 15 and Assassin's Creed Origins that it looked really cool, but nobody really cared about it.
I agree to that.
I also agree.
Other than that, so so the ones that didn't have anything to do with, for the people who just never played Assassin's Creed, the ones without Desmond's story in it, the ones that didn't had nothing to do with Desmond was Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which was 4, Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is now. Those ones have nothing to do with Desmond and his story. There's also like Assassin's Creed Rogue, which is like a side kind of DLC or whatever. And that one's just like this Asian chick going off doing her stuff. And then there's one more where it is like you're that one's like connected to Black Flag where you're the first mate, who you're this black dude who's freeing slaves and all that stuff. And I once again still not the Assassin's Creed that we all started off loving.
Yeah, it
And
definitely
I'll
went
hold my
total
piece
left.
right there. I'll hold my piece right there.
Definitely went left. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it fell off from the story, and it just seemed like they just kind of wanted to keep going. It felt like almost like a Call of Duty franchise where it's basically same everything, just different time era. Like you're really not giving me something really new. Especially if you keep coming out with it every year.
And that's the thing. I think the same thing happened with Call of Duty, but to a degree. I love Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3. I love those games to death. Those are my absolute favorite Call of Duty games. But I liked Black Ops, and I did not like Black Ops 2. And I did not. Is the future one Black Ops 3?
Infinite Warfare, not Modern Warfare.
Infinite Warfare. I hated Infinite Warfare. Awful game. I absolutely hated the game. Oh, Black Ops 3. Okay, so Black Ops 3 is also future stuff. The reason I hated them so much was just because Modern Warfare was my absolute favorite. I grew up, I was in pro leagues when I played Modern Warfare. I loved Modern Warfare. I was so good at it. I loved modern day action. But then you go to Black Ops, like, okay, it's past action. It was still cool. It's realistic. I've seen it before, But then you go to the Infinite Warfare. We all have boost jetpacks, and that's all you did. That's all you saw people do. You play multiplayer, dash, 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 dash. It just got boring. It got boring real quick, and I was like, this is stupid. This isn't real. I think that's what made me hate the game so much, is that it was no longer like Modern Warfare. It was no longer realistic. Like a shotgun that shoots, which, mind you, I did play the game, and I got Diamond my first season on Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare. I hate myself for it, but I prove myself every time. I hated the shotgun. It shot energy. It wasn't like a shotgun shot. It was like, boom, which is also my first weapon I max ranked because it was easy. But regardless, that's what I'm trying to say, though. It just wasn't the same. It was awful. And I'm glad that they got rid of it finally. Like they stopped with that, the futuristic, and they remade the Modern Warfare we play now, which I love.
It's basically selling you a remake for another $60.
Hey, I'll do it again. They could sell me Modern Warfare 2 remake, and I'll buy it too.
I'm gonna get to that in a second. You don't help you are what's wrong with today's industry, but I'm gonna get to you later. So what I'm getting at is,
don't start with me. Don't start with me.
So what I'm getting out of this is, and I guess I never really looked at it in this light. So when I talk to Modern Warfare people or Call of Duty people, and I try to tell them to get into what is it called, Apex Legends or whatever, their only argument against me is that it's not realistic. They can't do anything. So when you're playing Call of Duty and all that, you guys are really, really only looking for the realistic factor. Am I wrong when I say that?
No. Actually, I think you are wrong, because Modern Warfare built itself out of it's like as you played Apex right now, and they took away a lot of abilities, and they made you guys all of a sudden normal people. Would you hate the game? Because it took just a drastic turn. It's no longer what your game is. Call of Duty was realistic, obviously, to a degree. You can't get shot like 16 times, survive, but it was realistic to a degree. And then you tell somebody who plays that game, Modern Warfare, constantly, and they play Apex, they're not used to playing with shields, like besides a riot shield. They're not used to playing with a guy who can call in a cluster strike of missiles every like 60 seconds, or a girl who can revive people. I think that's what their take on it was. It's like, oh, it's not realistic to them enough for like that. I love Apex. I played Apex a lot.
That's what I mean. Like, people don't want that. People don't want that feeling of like, there's a chick who has a futuristic drone who brings people back from the brink of death. There is a dude who can literally turn you into a shadow, and once you die, you go back to a totem. Like, people don't want that non-realistic factor. So my question to like all Modern Warfare people is, when you play other games that are like battle royales or that are like Infinite Warfare and all that, do you guys really not like it just because you're not like like a modern day soldier fighting on the battlefield with, you know, your normal guns, like you said, riot shields, grenades, and all such like that?
And like I told you, I think it's just because when you play a game you're used to, why would you switch to another game? Like
Okay.
I didn't like Fortnite. I think I thought I hated Fortnite. Reason I hated Fortnite is because I thought the whole building while you might as well just play Minecraft. Minecraft has it. You shoot each other with arrows. You could build little structures that get away from other people. That's
I
all.
think
That's all it is to me.
I think that's everybody's like biggest gripe with Fortnite is because especially back then when it first started, it wasn't that bad. You know, everybody was getting used to the building factor, and I guess it's a thing that's all right, or you know that you can get past. But you know, it was I guess somewhat enjoyable at that point. But then when you're facing against people like Ninja or some stuff like that, then you go from I shot a dude one time and then all of a sudden and then you already have a whole mansion built and it's like, oh that okay. Like where's the fun? Where is the literal fun in this other than
Yeah,
let's see
all
who
you're
can
do
build
that's
past
like
this?
that's just prolong your death. And I don't know. That's my gripe about it is that I don't know. People say it's skill. You have to have skill building. It doesn't really seem like shooting's the biggest priority. It's if you could build, you could build your better chance to survive. You have a way better chance of survival.
Oh
If you're
wow.
an FPS player and you're like the best shooter in the world, but you can't build, you're not winning that game.
Oh wow. So let me break this down. So when you build in Fortnite, it's literally like two buttons, right? It's you click a button, you're on the cursor like that has the wall built, you click another button, it builds it. So the skill that you're telling me that I need to have for Fortnite is to hurry up, move my camera to where I want it to be placed, and then double click all like at a rapid pace.
Seems about right.
Oh wow, skill.
And everybody's the same thing of like they can say that about shooters though. Oh, all it requires you is to play and shoot. I'm like, no, it doesn't. I can tell you
It's
from
a
years of playing, it's a lot more than that.
I would say for a lot of like, and I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna go ahead and go put Apex in this. I'm gonna put Modern Warfare in this, or you know Call of Duty or whatever. I'm gonna put even like PUBG. For those ones, it's a little bit more complicated because you don't have that building factor in there. You can't just set up a wall randomly. You
In the middle
literally
of nowhere,
you
you can't just
literally have to maneuver between objects. Like actual like objects in the game become an obstacle for you. You have to either A, move around it, B, use it as cover, or you know, C, just be the better shooter in this situation. Which once again, it's not just a point and shoot, especially when a person's far away. You actually have to line up a shot. It
you
becomes
have to know
hard.
your recoil patterns. You got to
You
know how
have
to hold the
to
gun, everything.
yeah, yeah, you have to know even when it and I don't want to make it seem like, you know, we are the top notch gamers or whatever, because none of us are like, you know, EA players or champions or whatever the heck. But we play these games enough to know like this stuff isn't that it's especially when you're going against those players, it's not that simple. It's kind of hard actually.
Real quick. Oh, yeah, like a lot of good points. To dial it back a little bit, another one I kind of really did want to throw at you guys real quick. Did the Final Fantasy franchise also kind of flop?
No, no,
No, don't you
no,
dare! How
no,
dare you?
no.
Okay, you know what?
You
Okay,
go back into
let
your
me
corner.
be unbiased. Let me be unbiased here a second. I could see why people would say that because of like 15. I could see why people say people are used to turn-based combat, locked in place. You fight, and then 15 was like not like that. Yeah, you have cooldowns, but man, you're going ham on people. I could see the direction they're trying to go, and I don't think it flopped. I mean, people could say it. I love the story. I love the game. I beat it. I can't wait for Final Fantasy 15 or 16, which I think they announced, which I was super excited to hear about.
Final
But
So
Fantasy 15 took a different turn with this combat style, and it was, if anything, closer to Final Fantasy 13's, where it's not exactly turn based, but it's on like a little bit of time limit. But at the same time, they're literally the first of its like kind, and it works. That's all I want to say for that.
Why
So
KV? Did you think it flopped?
So to break it down a little bit, I would rather say some games in the franchise did kind of flop. So we're
That's
not
fair.
gonna, yeah. So let's start from 10. Because 10 and up is really where I've played all of them. 7 and like 9 and down, I haven't touched. As the 7 remake will also get into as well. So 10 was a great game. 10-2, I loved it, but it was a personal flop.
That's where Final
11,
Fantasy 13 got its fighting style from.
yeah,
And
and they shouldn't have.
me, I loved Final Fantasy 13. I didn't like 13-2. I didn't like where they went with that. I would consider it a flop. It just wasn't my tea. But I loved Lightning Returns. And I love at the end of the game. What I like about the Final Fantasy, I think, is what that makes me happy, is they start a story, they finish it. They don't just open end the game like, oh man, we stopped them from destroying the world for now. And it's like, they don't do that. They're like, we did it. The world's at peace. Yay. And then they give you a little extra where everybody's happy and there's a party. There's no cliffhanger as if something worse is going to happen. It's just the end.
15.
Okay, 15. No, 15 ended. They were
It ended. It wasn't
15.
no party at the end. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
No,
had
it was sad, but
13 didn't have a party at the end either.
yeah, they did. They had the wedding,
10,
or
10
they had
did-
that.
Wait, you know, it's a pretty thing. Like, it was something similar. I'm kind of noticing with all the Final Fantasies. They all have kind of a low key sad ending.
yeah.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
So 10, he just faded away.
I just-
12.
We're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna get into that. Just keep going.
Because we definitely go back and forth. 12, Ash was placed back on her throne. 12 was okay. 13, Bang and Vanilla died.
Yeah, I was going to say they
Oh.
crystallized.
I think that my gripe with that was I loved her. I loved her to death.
Vanille?
I loved Vanille to death. And when she died, it tore me up. I didn't care much about Fang.
And I was going to say, you notice how he doesn't say crap about Fang.
Yeah, I didn't care. She was never part of my team. It was always Saz, because I loved the dual pills. I loved his I keep on calling it persona, I guess is what I want to call it. But, you know, his guardian or whatever. I loved it. And I love the fact that he had chocobo in his hair.
Continue, KP.
Yeah. And so what I also kind of was noticing is 13 was that 13 had a pretty good. It was when they started doing 13-2 and 13-3 is when it really got bad. Like those are flops. I'm not gonna lie. 13-2 was pretty dope. 13-3 never played, but never no good reviews about it.
I think what people didn't like is you were timed. I think that was my biggest gripe too. Playing was it was timed. You were locked into a time frame. You had I think like 7 days before the world ended. And you had to like do something about it, and I was so scared.
Wait, is
What?
it anything like Majora's Mask where you could rewind
No.
time?
No, game's over. When it ends, it ends. You get an ending. As far as I'm concerned, I never had it end like that. I actually got the good ending as far as I'm concerned, because towards the end, if you do everything you needed to, they're like, oh, the day's near. And I was like, oh man, there's a lot of stuff I didn't get to do. And it's like, what's this? You collected enough of these items, and then all of a sudden another day blooms on the tree of life, whatever, to get an extra day to do stuff. And I was like, oh, cool. And then you go and you can save your sister and stuff like that. And I was like, this is pretty legit.
Okay, I was gonna say, because Majora's Mask actually, if you actually want to break it down, has any other game ever did that where you have a certain amount of days to do something and you
Yes.
have to constantly rewind time?
Oh,
Like what other
rewind
game
time now.
does that?
I don't know.
I
I
was
don't know
gonna
about
say,
rewinding time. I was like, Dead Rising gives you a time. At first, I was scared because like you have 72 hours, and I realized real quick that
But
game isn't 72 hours long.
I was gonna say, but a time limit you have to pay attention to, because if you don't pay attention to the one in Majora's Mask, the moon will crash into the earth and you will lose.
Yeah, and then you had to play
Seriously?
the song of
Yeah.
the song of time or whatever it was, the slow down.
No, well, yeah, but if you didn't pay attention to it, and you could let it get all the way to like you can either do it when it's at like 10 hours or whatever, or you can do it like right at the last second. You can rewind time at any point, but if you weren't paying attention to it, then you're SOL.
Your game's over.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, I don't know any other game like that. How about the Zelda series? Do you think any games of theirs was a flop? I personally only
yes.
ever played like I think the only one I ever played was Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time.
Unfortunately, no franchise is safe from a flop. So as far as KVs with Final Fantasy, I'll say things like Final Fantasy Type Zero was a flop.
Okay,
Final
okay,
Fantasy.
okay. I my personal gripe is I love that game. I love it. I beat it so many times. I love Queen. I loved 10. I love them as a whole. I love obviously the story. Yeah, it was obviously not the greatest, but it was fun. I loved playing it, and that's my piece on it.
But if we're gonna if we're gonna talk about Zelda series, I would say the three that come off to mind right now are Twilight Princess, what is it? Dang it, I just had it. Skyward Sword, and the paper one
Paper one,
where
like the
you
Paper
were,
Mario kind of version.
yeah, like literally, like you would have to uh play a song or whatever that fused you into the walls, and you would like have to like crawl amongst the walls just to get to a certain place to place.
I've never heard of that one.
Never heard of it.
If you saw the gameplay, you would know what it is.
All right. Well, I think we got enough griping on about our about our about our flops, and obviously we're gonna get a lot of hate back, especially because I talk crap about Infinite Warfare, and I know a lot of people still like that game.
Oh
A lot
gosh.
of people actually,
Yeah, but you know what? Once again, it's all my personal opinion.
as is all of our things that all of our topics that we talk about this on the MAV show. We are never carving this in set in stone on the tablets like Moses and saying this is our word and our word is law. We're never doing that here. This is an
I mean,
opinion
no,
based
something.
podcast, and we want to hear your opinions as well.
There's some things I feel like that are law and things I would never change.
Like what? You can't just say that after I done made it. What? Like what?
Out of spite, I'm gonna play whatever game you tell me not to. Actually, it's a lie because you'll reverse me with that. You'll make me play something you want me to. Not happening.
I'm glad you caught that. But I'm just gonna, for now, reserve my right to say that. And let's get into our recommendations of the week, guys.
Oh, one of my favorite parts of this show.
Oh yeah, I love it.
All right. Well, since both of you love it, who wants to go first?
I can go. I can go.
Oh
Well, to begin with, I don't have a game too much this time around. Actually, mine's about Snafu. My what is it? I don't remember the name. I just know Snafu. I never actually know the full name of it. My high school romantic comedy. Snafu's usually what it is, but it finally finished. It's over. 3 seasons, and it's done, and it ends exactly how I wanted it to end. So that's why I'm recommending it. So that's one of mine. I absolutely love the show. It's a little hard to keep track if you're one for all action and all that, but I love my my school animes.
That's all you got?
But yeah, it's all I got. I mean,
I was just
it's
like,
done and over. It's not like I need to fight for it.
give us a description of it, bruh.
All right, a guy with no friends who hates everybody, who wants to stay alone and away from everybody, is pretty much forced into a club with another girl who is almost the exact same personality. She's against everything, doesn't want to do anything. Well, I think she wants to do stuff, but it's like different from his morals. They both have like very hardcore morals about things. And how do I go about it? It's just their daily school life and how their relationships with each other progress. And then you meet another girl and how her relationship to the group progresses, and there's a lot of drama in between them all. And it's not just about them. You meet other people that are their friends that I don't know. It's really bad. The guy really makes himself out to be the villain because he doesn't like being a part of anything. And I think that was a bit of relatable in the beginning. As it progressed further, he obviously grew as a person, and you'll see that if you watch it. And I think that's what I liked about it. Is I love growth in shows where the person doesn't stay the same. So that's pretty much why I chose Snafu.
You hate Berserker though.
Yes. Animes that start off really bad or mangas that start off really bad to me will get no second chance from me.
You
Bad
start
as
off bad.
in,
That's not
like
the
a
reason why
shock
you hate it.
No,
factor?
Berserker of Gluttony. My bad. I forgot the
oh
Gluttony.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Berserk. Oh, I just told you I just didn't like it after reading after a while, because where are they gonna go from that? They're gonna pull some crap where he's like, oh man, wait, we can't be doing this. I told you, we're at recommendations. Go recommend something.
All right, KV, you mind if I take over?
Go ahead.
All right, so my recommendation for this week, kind of a little old school. We should all know it. It is actually one that I kind of hold dear to my heart because it adds a lot of my culture into it. It adds Black culture. It adds the hip hop. It adds the obvious like skin tone of of my skin complexion into the anime character. I'm pretty sure you guys can guess it. It is Afro Samurai.
I thought it was Afro, or was it Samurai Shampoo, whatever his name is.
Blue, that's close, but as far as like my skin complexion being in the actual anime, I don't see too many Black characters in Afro or Samurai Champloo.
Oh, it's Shampoo. I thought it was Shampoo.
Yeah, Champloo.
And Plume.
Bloom. Oh, there's no M in it.
Sure.
I'm almost positive. Anyway, anyways, inspired by Ozaaki's love for soul and hip hop music and American media, it follows the life of Afro Samurai who has witnessed his father, Roko Toro, being killed by a male gunslinger named Justice while he was a child. And it kind of just follows Afro Samurai wanting to someday avenge his father because Justice told him, if you want to avenge your dad, you gotta get better. You're not gonna be me anytime soon. So Afro Samurai kind of took that to heart. And although he goes through his his up and downs, he gets kind of like, beaten up because everybody looks at him as a kid. He ends up learning the ways of the sword later down the line through another master of his through an orphanage. They all become great friends, great family. And then long ways down the line, he has to kill more people that he doesn't really want to kill. And then Afro's life just keeps getting darker and darker. But he knows the road that he's chosen, and he's chosen to walk this road alone. Or at least it would be alone if he didn't have a figment of his imagination called Ninja. Ninja is basically the comic relief in this, and it is also played by none other than Samuel Jackson himself.
One of my favorite actors of
I love it,
all
man.
time.
Yes, yes.
I just watched Snakes on a Plane.
As you, it, out of all movies, and
Assassin's
as
Bodyguard was
you,
one of the best ones. So
and as
my
you
bad, the
follow
Hitman's Bodyguard.
Hitman's Bodyguard, and as you follow Afro Samurai's, pretty much, and that's pretty much his name, Afro Samurai. As you follow him, take this lonely road, see the trials and tribulations that he has to go through, whether that be physically fighting off these enemies who want the number two headband, which he does obtain, and that the only one with the number two headband can only challenge the number one headband. Or if it's mentally, where he has to constantly fight with himself and see if the choices that he makes in life are actually the right choices, or if he's just a straight up villain. But Afro Samurai, I can't rave enough about it. I actually met a few people who have never seen it, never heard about it, and who have been watching anime for quite some time. And I'm like, how did you never hear about this? It is that popular to me. So if you've never heard about it, how have you never heard about Afro Samurai?
Which is a great question too, because we've heard about it like years ago when we were kids. So if you still hear about people who've never seen or heard about Afro, I can understand since it's pretty old now. But man, since it's I don't know. Like I know we definitely found out about it just because it's an anime of color, where it has African Americans in it, especially even
hmm
played by Samuel Jackson. But
And
it's
music done by
phenomenal.
RZA from Wu Tang Clan. If you don't know who Wu Tang
Oh,
Clan
I
is,
love Wu
get
Tang
some
Clan.
culture.
With the cleanse up as well. Oh, for real, like for Samurai was legit, and it has to be like one of my top favorite animes of all time. It was legit. Between the comedy from Ninja, the seriousness from Afro Samurai, and the journey Afro had to go through it, after obtaining the number 2 band and fighting off thousands of people trying to come in kill him, like that show was. I mean, the anime was dope. It was nothing short of like 9.9 out of 10.
It had everything you want. It had art style, it had story, and it had music. Like those are like the big three of anything. And guess what? They hit all three.
All right,
All
KV,
right.
with yours.
All right. So my manga recommendation of the week. Will be Record of Ragnarok. And so I really didn't know what to think when I first like looked at it. I'm more of the action type of person, action and fantasy. When I looked at it, I was like, we're gonna see. The story begins when the gods call a convention to decide whether to let humanity live or die, and settle on destroying humanity. The lone Valkyrie puts forward a suggestion to let the gods and humanity fight one last battle. As a last hope for humanity's continued survival, 13 gods will fight against 13 human champions in a one-on-one battle to decide whether humans live or die. And I just want to tell you guys, the fights so far, it like immediately jumps straight into the fights. By like the second chapter, you're immediately to the fights. Now you're not gonna understand or recognize all of the heroes just because some of them are from like Japanese origin versus all of them being from the different gods. So you have the Roman gods, which were like Zeus, Hercules, Poseidon. You have
Greek.
the Indonesian.
Those are
I
Greek
bet, yeah,
gods.
you're right. Yeah, Greek gods have
You said Indonesian?
Indonesia. In like the Indonesian gods, like India of destruction. You have like quite a different few gods. You have like Buddha in here, Valkyries, Odin, like the Norse gods. You have Thor in here, and they're all set up against like the top humans of the world, and like it's really really freaking phenomenal. The fights here are like some like I can't wait for this to go into anime, like legit. Like this right here, just it is all about action. It has some stories behind it, but to see like because it all starts off when everybody's like, well, all the gods are like, well, we're kind of tired of humanity at this point, so let's just kill them off. Doctor comes in and is like, well, are you guys really tired of the humans? Or are you scared of them? And everybody just starts laughing. Okay, so it sounds like y'all really scared of them. I guess y'all don't want no smoke. Gods are like, oh, you want all the smoke. We ain't scared of no humans. Comes in. So it's like the first fight is like
bet.
Like the first fight is like against Thor and some I don't remember the Japanese guy's name. But the fight was like freaking phenomenal. Like it instantly hooked me in, and I'm just like, oh my god. Like it was freaking amazing. Just even in the manga edition.
All I want to know, can the humans hang with the gods?
Yes, they do. So at first it didn't seem like they were going to, but so they of course they're gods. And by mean gods, I mean they're little gods. So they're if it was just humans versus the gods, they would automatically lose. So they get these weapons from the Valkyries, which the Valkyries kind of turn into weapons for the humans. That way, because no mortal object can harm the gods, period, point blank. So they can only be harmed by divine weapons. So all the humans kind of get divine weapons in a sense. It kind of gives them a little bit of a power up to fight the gods. And the Valkyries who match up with certain humans, they all more or less transform to whoever the person's most used weapon. So you have swords, spears, hammers, knuckle busters. Like the fights were dope. So like I think like one of the top fights I've seen so far was like the top two had to be Zeus versus Adam, which was a pretty interesting fight. Then the second one after that one was and this is a spoiler warning because the manga is continuing. Zeus won. And he shouldn't have won. Adam should have won that fight. The other one that was really interesting was Hercules versus Jack the Ripper. That was interesting. Jack the Ripper won. Jaguar would be Hercules, and all the gods were hella pissed off about that one. Like these dudes are low key in like the Colosseum kind of, like, just destroying everything around them with just like their pure, just like being pissed off. Like it's such a phenomenal, great anime based off of anime. I mean, like based off like fantasy and action and like all these different gods and stuff. I highly recommend it to anybody really wanting to get something that's pure action, a little, and it definitely goes into the backstory to the different gods to give you some depth, both gods and humans. It is really, really based off of just the action and the fights. I recommend to anybody who's really into that.
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
It really does.
Record of Ragnarok, and I'm telling you, if you want to see gods versus humans, and like I'm telling you, the fights are great. Like Japanese version of Thor, I'm not gonna lie, is pretty dope. I like him better than the American version. Like this dude has an oversized Jonier. Did I say his name?
Mjolnir?
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir?
Mjolnir.
I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Oh,
He has an
yeah.
oversized Mjolnir,
Ragnarok.
and it like this dude is freaking amazing. Odin looks dope. Zeus looks like some crippled old dude until like he actually starts using his body and powers up. Poseidon's a beast. Like all the gods in here like kind of get like a anime-ish makeover, and they're all dope. Like I recommend this. Like if you guys want to see some good quick action real quick, record of Ragnarok is really dope.
Keep that in mind. So I guess that's it then?
I think that's it. Anybody have any closing comments?
I'm good.
Little brother?
All right, guys. I don't really have any shout outs for this week. Do you guys have any shout outs?
None right now.
Same? None? Shout out.
Cool. All right, then, guys. Guess what? That was another episode down in the books.
Number
In the book.
24.
I do want to say there's only about 2 more episodes for the season before we head into season 2. We will start season 2 with cameras, and we'll be posting up on YouTube for you guys. We'll go more into that in our last episode. We have been planned. But yeah, guys.
Oh no, the season's
Rocky
coming to an
Road.
end. So much has
The season is
happened.
coming to an end. Can't wait.
We're gonna go through a year time skip type deal like Fairy Tail or One Piece.
Where
He's like, no,
that.
we ain't gonna do that here.
Will the
Power of
MC actually
friendship's
get
gonna
with the
keep
girl?
this series going. No.
All right, y'all. Always remember, guys. Always thank you for tuning in. Always hit us up on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Stitcher. If not Stitcher, I'm gonna get us on Stitcher. And I'm not so sure if I told you guys yet. I've kind of been holding this back, and I'm still not sure if it's up there yet. But Amazon has started its own podcasting system now, and I got the email right off the bat. So hopefully we will be up on Amazon podcasting soon.
All right, guys. If you don't have nothing else, also if you guys want to get in contact with us, please hit us up at mavericks@gmail.com. That is mavreks@gmail.com, and also our website is mavericks.com. mavreks.com.
Or hit us up at bbe.mav2020@gmail.com. That's bbe.mav2020@gmail.com.
All right, guys. If you have nothing else, thank you guys for tuning in and listening in. We will see you next week.
Peace. Bye.